I've lived so many lives, and I feel like we're probably just getting started. So the creative cancer will not be able to thrive in a high genius signal environment. All right, welcome. I'm Bodhi Horne, and today we're going to talk about awakening the genius within. This is my absolute favorite thing in the world. When I was about 12 years old, my mom took me to Helen B. Hoffman Library in Plantation, Florida. What began as a simple trip, it really forms the foundation of what's been my lifelong journey. Of course, one that's filled with wonder and challenges, and what I've discovered time after time again is this unyielding commitment to celebrating the human spirit, something that is pretty foundational to everything that I do, is captured in the idea and bringing your inner genius to light. And there's so many different ways I could give you examples of that. Just think of someone you're extremely inspired by, or your favorite performer or historical figure. And it doesn't have to be someone popular. It could be someone that you know in your life, and there's a certain spirit about them and the way that they do things. And I'm willing to bet that some degree of that has to do with their own agency of their innate genius, how they flow and function in that. So anyways, at the library when I was 12, I would just get loads of books. That's really the long and short of it. It started out with fringe stuff a 12, 13-year-old kid is really going to be into, but very rapidly it opened up into all the other things that really make up the narrative of human life, these symbols and ideas that we are so heavily vested in, and that are not just haphazard reflections, but are actually living pieces that we interact with, parts of ourselves. We get into attention, imagination, and concentration, how these really are your superpowers, but we're getting a little ahead of ourselves now. My early journey, it started childhood discovery, the weekly visits to the library, really diverse subjects. That's probably one thing that still marks my life to this day, is the lateral connections between different fields, categories, discoveries, systems and functions, things like that. My mind seems to really be piqued on those sorts of things, finding the lateral connections, the similarities, and being able to leverage and exploit those things for the highest return, serving creativity, serving life, serving the human spirit above all. So childhood discovery, many different subjects, teenage achievement, became the youngest certified self-hypnosis instructor in the United States. Thank you, Don Motton. And later on in life, I spent some time as a clinical hypnotherapist, had some profound experiences, great clients, and just the further hands-on in other fields of behavior modification and the depths of the unconscious, and the resourcefulness and the limitlessness of the unconscious, and how this ties into genius, into creativity, and to satisfaction, quality of life in general. And so that was teenage time, and then service and connection. Let's see, middle school peer counselor, that was a lot of fun. I used to do like evangelism stuff pretty hardcore, and some of my younger days, that was after multiple gang initiations and just being sort of a delinquent for a while. Interesting life. I've vacillated between utter poverty and outright wealth, and a life of crime and a life of righteousness. I've lived so many lives, and I feel like we're probably just getting started. So in this journey, what I've discovered, the central question really that I feel that I've always been getting at from early on is, what is the force that allows some people to thrive while others absolutely struggle? And one of the first ways I identified this, because the way I was raised, it was a very strict home. I noticed this asymmetrical power difference, of course, parent-child, but for me, I felt it was extreme. And when I saw other types of patterns like that in the world, I was trying to make sense of it, primarily when I was at Helen B. Hoffman Library, some of the books I was getting go off like into mind control, brainwashing, things like that. And how do these things occur? Scientific studies, why does it occur? That's when I first learned about Zimbardo and Milgram experiments and things like that. And just how do we behave the way we do? And what is this power of authority? And how is it like this agentic shift when authority is given? Because that's something I noticed very early on is in order for someone to have power over someone, you really have to give that power. And we're not going to get into the esoteric depths of what it is to be a human and have willpower and all that stuff. Not right now. But that was one of the primary things that came to my mind is why are some people operating like this and some people operate like this, and where is the illusion of control and who's got power and dynamic in society and family units and corporate structures. And I've been able to in magical groups and street gangs, I've been able to dive into this central question across a range of fields. Some things I'm not allowed to talk about, and some things I'll share openly as we spend more time together. But that question is what is that force, right? And so in early experiences as a peer counselor and working with troubled youth, I noticed some just seem like chained to the struggle, while others seem at such liberty, doing what they want, connecting the outside reality and experience to their inner vision. And so part of this discovery for me was when I realized through spiritual study, scientific study, biology, philosophy, social sciences, even finance and economics, there's this creative force that I've dubbed as genius. I believe our primary power and function and beauty, this creative force in us we've been divorced from it and abandoned it because it's been the human narrative that genius is something that belongs to giants of history, or mathematicians, or guys with funny hair and writes formulas that nobody knows what it means. E equals MC squared. That's not what a genius is. A genius is that faculty moving in you. It's the life. It's the creative force. It's the same thing that grows your fingernails and grows your hair and beats your heart and blinks your eyes and creates moisture on your eyes and balances the oxygen and carbon dioxide levels and blood sugar and all that stuff. And people don't think, oh, that's genius. But listen, this is the same stuff. It's that same thing. And we'll get into the dynamics of how people give that away or suppress it within themselves. It's a really vicious cycle. But the insight essentially is that the inner genius is suppressed, and it leads to this atrophy. But when it's nurtured, now this is the kicker. You don't have to have all the answers. When you just nurture this thing, when you open up the floodgate, more than you can ever imagine becomes possible. The greatest potential in all of your life is always with you, and it's how you access it or whether you access it that makes all the difference of your experience. So it's this insight that when you nurture it, it creates growth, innovation, and fulfillment in individuals and communities. And that's part of my vision, is we're going to change the narrative of the world. We're going to get everyone in touch with this genius. We're not going to suppress it anymore. We're going to go every narrative that attempts to suppress, we are speaking not just only against, but we are so pro-genius that when the narrative shifts, it's going to seem like, why haven't we thought this way always? Because it's your birthright, okay? All right, I hope you're enjoying the video. I want to take a quick break for today's sponsor, which is a 12-minute audio that I've made specifically for you if you're trying to bring your greatest goals into crystal clarity and rewire your brain to naturally move towards those goals. Well, I've created a 12-minute audio for you. It's currently only $7. If this sounds interesting to you, there is a link below in the description. The price may be going up sometime in the future, but if this speaks to you, it's completely up to you. It's available, and yeah, I hope you enjoy. Now back to the video. Now, to understand genius, as I've gotten into a little bit, it's a universal force. It's not reserved for the giants of history. It's literally your creative, life-giving force. When two people come together and create another person, that is genius force. When someone is sitting with a problem that they're trying to figure out, that is genius force. When you're creating something and you're losing yourself in the flow and the love of simply doing it because you love it, that is genius force. So this creative current, this force flows through all people. It's a creative current. And when it's properly channeled, we'll get into the details of that later, because you have to do a lot less than you think. You have to you have to authorize your genius to work in you. As long as you think you're in control and you tell the genius what to do, and your little ego self is going to point it out and say, okay, you could go do this for me, genius. Like, you got it wrong. You're going to continue to burn out. You're going to continue to plateau. You're going to continue to feel out of touch and not living the life of your legacy the longer you think you've got a ego solution for this spiritual problem. Okay, but when you channel this genius, which is getting out of your own fucking way, and you allow it to flow, the magic happens. Transformation at every angle, on every surface, at every face, on every line. And so what we're addressing is the tragic disconnection of humanity. Too many people have become disconnected from their genius, and we're not even going to get into all of the symptoms of society at large. You talk about anxiety, depression, and the list of things that goes on just from that, the chronic stress, the amount of people who can't remember the last time they've played or they've connected to an innate idea that feeds them, because that's what your genius does. It feeds you. When you nourish your creative calling, it feeds you. So the mission here is several-fold. There's more cycles and more levels to this than I could possibly share with you in this brief presentation. However, suffice to say that the mission is to amplify genius, to strengthen the signal of genius in individuals like you, in high performers, in low performers, in every person, every class, every nation, every person. Listen, it's a signal. And that signal has been so diminished throughout time that people don't know that they are a transmitter of that signal. They are a generator of that signal. They are a source of this genius, negentropic creative signal. You see, there's so much entropy, so much wasted energy that pulls things down, that doesn't give things space to bloom and grow. Now, entropy is important. We do need some drag a little bit in order for things to continue to grow. But what we're doing is we're increasing the signal of genius in you, in society, in everything that we do, because we've been disconnected from this life current that does bleed negentropic energy into everything. That means energy that creates more positive energy, self-sustaining feedback loop. So we're going to study what it is to thrive, the research conditions that allow creativity to flourish, and we're doing this across many different fields with different professionals and experts, and really excited about this work that's coming forward. We're going to balance these cycles. When you look at how life forms from single cell to multicellular, when you look at these systems and how they operate, there are cycles that they go through that does require a level of stress, that does require a level of disconnection or ceasing work, requires a replenishing of energy spent. And then when the organism or the entity returns to that work or to that condition, that stress, it is better equipped to deal with it. It's stronger. This is the science of hormesis, and this is central to a sustainable evolution of spirituality, of economics, of innovation across the fields, it's a very simple, successful model that's alive in everything that we do. It's how we succeed. It's why we get stronger. And it's when it's ignored, it's why things weaken and get worse. So this is a complex systems understanding, or an integral, holistic view that needs to really be incorporated into everything that we're doing if we plan to have a lot more fun and create a lot more cool stuff. So essentially, bottom line, we are combating this creative cancer with a change of narrative. This is the new meta, okay? The uplifting of the human spirit, not the primacy of, making a dollar, not the first order of doing the coolest thing at any cost, but understanding that there's an integral involved. And when we can honor and be good stewards of this energy, the creative cancer will have less space. It won't be fed. The noise that it feeds on will diminish as we increase the signal. Understood? So this mission has emerged from my personal experiences with early abuse and observations of systemic suppression of human potential. Like any living system, genius requires the right balance of challenge and recovery to thrive. See, this is not just some quick, let's just polish it up and sell something that looks good to the world. Like, this is important. This is emergent. The initial conditions of anything that matters, of anything that has the potential for exponential growth, the initial conditions matter so much. And understanding, for one, the signal, the genius, that's the you. That's what's in you. And then there's ways to nourish that so it doesn't diminish. And by understanding these cycles, how it operates in you and in systems all around, we're able to mimetically change that narrative with intention to design negentropic experiences, products, activities, community. The creative cancer will not be able to thrive in a high genius signal environment. And so this natural cycle of thriving, this is, sometimes I refer to it as LF1 protocol. It essentially is, this is the 4 phases of hormesis, which is getting stronger, more resilient, increasing your capacity to deal with environmental conditions, environmental being inner or outer. Think of it like this. If you're working out, if you're studying for a test, anything you're doing, there's going to be an initial challenge. This is the beast phase, where you give it everything you got, max effort, go to the red line for a duration, whatever is an appropriate duration, to go a little bit beyond your comfort and ability, meaning it's going to stress, it's going to be hard, probably at the level of failure where you're not able to do it anymore. That means you're done. That means now initiate phase 2, peace. This is where you step away. This is an integration phase. This is where you necessarily have to stop doing the thing. This is why people burn out. This is why a lot of people don't give themselves time to stop. The hustle culture, the grind is wicked. And if they do stop, they don't get peace. They immediately throw themselves into something else that has more negative, entropic sort of energy. So they never get to peace out. They never get to rest. And it's that rest phase, when you initiate that, your body, your mind, your energy, your whole state then becomes ready to receive nourishment, to replenish what's been broken down and spent. And so feasting, the feast phase, is about consuming, ingesting, putting into yourself nutrients, things that replenish. That could be good company, that's good food, that's good content. The feast phase is replenishing those things. For some of you, it'll be a spiritual practice. And then repeat with increase. This is after you've given it your best, after taking a break, after you've replenished yourself. Now you can go and return to this thing. And when you repeat it, you'll be able to return to it with an increased capacity and increased vigor, if you've had appropriate rest time, you've had appropriate replenishment, you're ready to kick ass again. And this is the Aleph 1 protocol. This is hormesis in a nutshell. Beast out, peace out, feast, and repeat with increase. This is your call to action. If any of this resonates with you, if you feel like you need to live into your legacy, and perhaps you feel at a plateau or burned out, or maybe you're doing great and you are ready to become a part of something more that participates in your vision and that also is a vision you can be proud of, then we're creating this new meta for the creative legacy of humankind. This is to nourish and recognize the genius that's within every person, not exploiting it and suppressing it as the old world, the old narrative has done. We're building new systems. This philosophy isn't just theoretical, it's practical framework. It's for designing environments and creativity in you, creative opportunities, so that we can flourish both as individuals and in society. And then finally, the empowering key characters. This is you. This isn't the little ego you that's afraid of things. This is the you. The you where time slows down and things just connect, and your breath is integral and deep, open, expansive, and connected to love, a future that you feel empowered by. This is who this is for. These are the people that will empower this mission. Founders such as myself, creators like you, ambassadors who dare to bring your inner genius to light. You will become the protagonists in this new narrative of human potential. So our core values are awe and reverence. If it's not clear at this point, then I've got more work to do, because recognizing and honoring this creative force within ourselves and others, approaching life and possibilities with genuine wonder and appreciation, that's really what got this whole thing started. That fundamental awe and reverence, like this is worth fighting for. And then the courage and strength to serve our highest calling, even in the face of adversity, so that we can have the fortitude to pursue creative expression despite obstacles or resistance, because there will be obstacles and there is much resistance. So take courage. It is necessary on this mission. And then belonging and purpose. This is about aligning with a mission that fills us with a pride that is meaningful, not a shallow pride, but a pride that lives beyond us, finding our place in a community that values authentic contribution and shared growth. Because look, when you have a planet full of 8 billion geniuses, there's going to be some disagreement. There's going to be some struggle. There's going to be some friction. But it is also worth it, because when the best ideas come together, better ideas come together. You understand? So the heart of our brand is a universal truth, and it's as simple as genius is a birthright of humanity. It's that simple. This is for everyone. It doesn't belong to anyone. It belongs to all of us. It's our legacy. The heart of our brand is about creating thriving environments within ourselves, in our workspaces, in our worlds, in our industries. And it's about creative flourishing as individuals and as larger bodies, and of course always celebrating the human spirit. This complexity, this brilliance, it's not all cupcakes, but it is certainly a unicorn, because at the core, our brand commits to awakening this genius in everyone. We're building environments where creativity flourishes naturally, where individuals and communities thrive together, and where the full spectrum of human potential is not just acknowledged but celebrated. This is the core of what we do. And so our shared legacy is this. This is our story, and this is your story. This is the story of genius awakened Together, we're building a future where genius isn't just a rare gift, but it's the universal truth, a force that propels us towards new horizons, some we haven't even dreamed of yet, so that we leave a legacy of innovation, connection, and hope. By recognizing the cycles that allow creativity to thrive, and by creating systems that support rather than exploit human potential, we're writing a new chapter in humanity's creative journey. Thank you.